here's all the building supplies, all the boards that I needed, and the steel rod and the hardware, some screws, and the 8 nylon washers. And then spacers I already pre-cut from another piece of wood that I had already, and sanded those up. But here's the blueprint drawing plans, makeshift drawing plans that I threw together real quick, just so that I could get my measurements and account for how much wood I needed, so that I could right there make my little shopping list and have my dimensions and my notes and all that stuff. Those are what the hooks are going to look like for the jackets and stuff, hoodies and whatnot to go on. Here's the box with all the measurements for it, and this was supposedly a slightly detailed, mostly just me figuring out measurements wise and how wide of pieces between the spacers and the actual coat hooks, and how exactly that's going to sit on the side and of the box so that they cover up the door the way I want them to cover up the door. So that's that. I'm going to go ahead and cut everything out, cut all the pieces out, and do the necessary sanding, and then I will get back to you on how to throw it all together and end up with the finished product. Okay, another quick thing here. My box is pretty much 95% done. I just gotta add some something on the back that's smooth to protect the wall from getting all scratched up, the paint job from getting scratched up, as I'm not a permanent, as I'm renting the residence that I'm in, so I'm planning on moving, so this thing's gonna get moved. So I didn't want to deal with making a whole bunch of marks on the wall with it going up on the wall. And then also kind of just give it a nicer, smoother final fit once it gets all screwed. All the screws go into the studs through it, and it'll hug the wall very nicely and be extremely secure. So this is the inside of it. So we have the holes going down it. So let me show. I wanted to show just a real quick, helpful tip that I kind of came up with it myself. So using these little flagging markers with real thin metal rods, I snapped off a bit of it and bent the end and put it through the first top hole, and then I used a piece of cardboard, big long nice long piece of cardboard, and having it pretty much right there at the top, poked a hole through it using that the end of one of these flag markers that you can pick up at a hardware store. And so I pushed the first one in so that it's positioned in the right spot, and hold it, and then I went and going all the way down, poked the holes through it, through the cardboard, with the rest of the flagging tape rod. So that way all the holes will be marked through the cardboard. So then once I get in the house and where I'm putting it, all I gotta do is take the piece of cardboard, which will have all the holes, and I'll make me drill the holes so they're a little bit bigger. And I'll just be able to slap it up against the wall exactly where I want it placed, and I'll have the holes already marked exactly where they need to be drilled to drill into the studs. So that's just a quick helpful tip right there, and we're gonna go get it knocked out. Okay, you guys, so this is the cabinet all finished, all said and done. I went ahead and left the level up here to show you that you didn't, as hanging anything on the walls, you definitely want it level. So it is pretty much right there, spot on. So here it is with the jackets all hung up. You can see that they each individually swivel independently, very nicely, very smoothly, with those nylon washers there. And all the jackets hang up. It's kind of neat. It's kind of nice because you kind of do it in pairs, 2 at a time. My first two jackets are mine that I wear on a regular, most often basis, and then the next 2 end up being my other half's. She puts hers on the next 2, and then the bottom 2 are one of my vests, and then some extra hats and some of her scarves. So those kind of end up being the last ones, and they just fold right over. Each and every single one of them just fold right on over, and they do a pretty good job of hiding the cabinet there. I wanted to show, excuse the camera and tripod fumbling around, but as you can see there on the side, I have hats, ball caps hanging up. I just got little hooks from Walmart that have the little coating on it, the little rubber plastic coating on the hooks so it doesn't damage my hats. So my hats hang up, and that provides us a place for them, for one, but 2, also kind of again helps conceal the cabinet from really being there. So unless you're looking, it's not obvious that there's an actual cabinet there. It just kind of looks like a little hat, coat rack, hanger thing. I also threw together, because I got rid of the freestanding coat rack, I went ahead and on the top of the freestanding coat rack was all my cowboy hats kind of stacked on top of one another. So I went ahead, and since getting rid of that coat rack, I needed something to hang my hats on. So kind of like an added bonus to the video, let me show you, video on the cabinet, the hidden cabinet coat rack. On top of that video, you get the bonus of seeing another shelf that I did, where all cut out of board, out of 1/2 inch thick or 3/4 inch thick board, and did a nice wood finish, just a shade darker than the cabinet thing. Again, going for that rustic look. So all my cowboy hats hang up on there. So I've got all 3 of those there. So that's my, again, make sure level. But alright, so this is kind of the moment of truth that most of y'all have been waiting for, as far as wanting to know what the heck is in his cabinet. Why did he make this hidden cabinet? What is he putting in it? Let me get a little bit more light in here, see if I can get some more light. Come on. There we go. Alright, so when I fold back all these And let me undo. I got a little combination lock here to keep little fingers out of it. Because, to be honest, what's in here is not. If somebody wants it in a break-in, a robber, if he wants the item behind here, if he somehow figures out that there's something back here, then it's a wood cabinet, so he's gonna bust it up anyways. Whether he's got his own crowbar or he grabs a baseball bat or has a baseball bat or grabs something out of my garage, he could bust it open with and get it off the wall and break into it and get the item anyways. But for the most part, this little locking clasp thing is just to keep little fingers away from it during the day and out of it. But here's the spoiler alert. The item behind here is the Mossberg 590 Shockwave, non-NFA short-barreled shotgun. It's not real. It's by the NFA. It doesn't classify as a shotgun because of its length and a whole bunch of hoops that Mossberg went through to make sure that that's classified as not being one. But it is a cool little home protection tool, and fun to shoot as well on the range. But that's what the whole purpose of this cabinet was to house and hide this guy from little hands, and have access to in case there's an intruder, worst case scenario. I added the little shelf here, as you can see, for the boxes of ammo, and I did with the foam, I did little cutouts that readily accessible extra rounds, so I got 4 in there along with this thing having rounds in it. And again, you make your box the size you need for whatever you are going to hide behind there. So obviously there's plenty of room, plenty of space to maneuver that guy in and out of there pretty quickly. And the piano hinges worked out well, and it's got the little locking clasp. So during the day it'll stay locked up, and then at night I'll unlock it and leave the lock up here so that I can quickly get to it in that emergency situation. So there you have it. Again, if all the coat things fold right over, and for the most part hide it pretty well. Another note, you'll see down there at the bottom, laundry basket is down there. That's behind the doors, kind of where we keep the laundry basket, kind of hidden out of the way again as well. But for the laundry basket being there, it kind of acts as as a primary doorstop, but occasionally you do laundry, so that laundry basket's not there. So what you can see here down at the bottom, again, excuse the maneuvering of the camera, let me zoom in. There's a little wooden block, just a 2x4 block that got cut to the right size with the right angle cut on there with some of those little strips of foam, sticky foam padding pieces on it. And there's two long screws that are recessed into the block that then go into the baseboard there. So that's not going nowhere. And that acts as a solid doorstop in case the laundry basket's not there. That way, when you swing the door open in a quick and in a hurry for whatever reason, and if the laundry basket's not there, then it stops the door from banging up against the coat rack, or in this case, smashing my first cowboy hat. Even though it is a packable hat there, still prefer not to bash it up too much. So that's that. There you have it. The hidden cabinet coat rack. That's what I'm going to call it. The hidden cabinet coat rack. So it came out beautiful. Again, it was kind of like a wing it project. I did a little bit of drawing and measurements, recording and stuff like that, but it was my first time making something that specific. I do have experience making other specific furniture pieces for other things, and I've got a woodworking background, construction through the military, as well as growing up with my father. He was always the handyman, good with construction, had a workshop and everything. So that's what I grew up with, and I learned a lot from him, and I learned a lot in the military, doing construction work there, and YouTube's a huge help as well. So there you have it. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. It's something a little different from what I normally do. Yes, I do have firearms. I do have more than just one. It's safety, #1 concern, and especially with having young children in the home. And thankfully I've not had to use any of them in an emergency situation, but I do carry legally, again, I'm all about protection and safety. So as an outdoorsman, how do you not own a firearm? Being here in the southeast corner of the United States, that's kind of one of the things we do. In this world, you have to protect yourself and your family from all the people who are not so smart out there. So enough about that. I don't do videos on firearms. So this is kind of a spoiler in case you didn't know. I do have firearms, and I do treat them respectfully, responsibly, and safety being the priority. So that's that. I don't want to deter any viewers away because of the fact that I'm a responsible gun owner, but I am. That's why I don't do specific videos on those firearms, because that's not what I want my channel to be about. My channel is about as an outdoorsman and making things and using things that outdoorsmen do use and make. So this is just a different aspect of me, something else about me, and something that I do like to do and am fully capable of. That's making custom furniture, along with lots of other things that I build. I'm definitely a handyman in the garage. So that's that. Hope you enjoyed the video. Hope you thought this was a neat idea. I sure as heck did. I thought it was a cool design. Came out beautifully. I couldn't be happier with it. So any questions, comments, please give me some feedback. It helps. It makes all the difference to me, knowing that the time that I spend with the camera and the photos and throwing all that together and putting it on YouTube is benefiting somebody in some way. So all the feedback I can get is great. Thanks.